Good morning and happy Friday the 13th here in the month of December. This is Wake Up with KERA News and I'm Andrew Garcia. We've got a bit of bad luck today as far as the weather goes. We'll have cloudy skies and a few showers and thunderstorms in the forecast for this weekend. It could be worse though. We'll have temperatures hovering around the high 60s for the most part. It's a big weekend for sports here in North Texas, from marathons to football and everything in between. Before we get to more sports, let's get into today's news. Bonton Farms in South Dallas will soon offer health resources for residents in the Bonton neighborhood. The nonprofit broke ground yesterday on a 36-unit multi-income apartment complex. It'll also open new wellness and resource centers that will provide services like dental care, exercise classes, and health education. It's marathon weekend in Dallas. The BMW Marathon celebrates its 53rd year with an expo and events ranging from 5K races to ultra marathons. The weekend kicks off tonight with the Friday Night Mile in front of Dallas City Hall. The marathon starts at 8 on Sunday morning. It's been a big week for college football fans in Texas. UT and SMU are both heading to the college football playoffs, but for SMU, it doesn't come without controversy. The Denton Record Chronicle's John Fields joined KERA's Bekah Morr to discuss why.
John, we've talked before about SMU's big first season in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Can you talk a little bit about how they got where they are?
Yeah, there were some questions about how quickly they could adapt to the level of competition in the ACC, but they've exceeded all expectations this fall. In fact, Florida State at one point sued to keep SMU out of the conference, saying the Mustangs would drag down the level of competitiveness. But, ultimately SMU has had a much better season this fall than anyone expected. But as you said, there was a bit of controversy over SMU's inclusion in the college football playoff. The Mustangs were picked over Alabama for the final at-large spot, but SMU pretty clearly deserved it. The Mustangs were ranked 3 spots above Alabama going into last week and lost a tight 34-31 game to Clemson on a last-second field goal in the ACC championship. And Alabama finished 9-3 and didn't play on conference title weekend at all. So instead, SMU is set to face Penn State in Pennsylvania on Saturday, December 21st in the first round of the playoff. And the Longhorns were the other Texas team to make the playoff. Texas will host Clemson in Austin on Saturday, the 21st.
It hasn't been quite as sunny in Arlington, where the Cowboys have had a pretty disappointing season. Obviously, there's been injuries, but they look to have some momentum going into their last game. They still fell short to the Bengals, though, after a late miscue. How are they looking going into this upcoming game against the Carolina Panthers Sunday?
Yeah, they certainly haven't looked great of late, and frankly, it's going to be an uphill battle for them to attempt to make the playoffs at this point, especially after you mentioned that miscue. It was a tipped punt by the Cowboys that was muffed that cost them in Sunday's 27-20 loss to the Bengals and allowed the Bengals to recover and score a pretty crucial blow there in the game.
So where do they go from here?
Like I mentioned, the odds of the playoffs don't look great at this point, but on the bright side, the Cowboys are in the NFC, which has been the significantly worst of the two conferences this year. So they've got certainly still somewhat of a path to make the playoffs. On the bright side, they do have the Carolina Panthers coming up, one of just 3 teams in the NFC with a worse record than the Cowboys.
It's also a big weekend for high school sports. There's a few local football teams in the state semifinals. You cover high school football. What are you looking forward to this weekend?
Yeah, we've got 7 DFW teams left in the state's 4 largest divisions, and they're all competing for coveted spots in next week's state championship games down at AT&T Stadium. And really, it's impossible to start anywhere other than the Duncanville-North Crowley game, which is perhaps the DFW game of the year in terms of hype, with both teams coming in unbeaten. Duncanville is going for 3 straight state titles, while North Crowley is going for its first title since winning it all back in 2003. I'm not even covering this game, but I'll be attending it as a fan just out of sheer curiosity, and I think there will be a lot of folks in the crowd with me there in Allen on Saturday.
And of course, it feels like it's all football this time of year, but there are some other things going on in the world of North Texas sports, namely the Texas Rangers made some big moves this week.
Yeah, it's been an eventful week for the Rangers, despite the fact that the season's still a ways away. They re-signed reliable pitcher Nathan Eovaldi to a 3-year, $75 million deal. And they also traded for power bat Jake Berger from the Miami Marlins in exchange for 3 minor league prospects. And then they also signed relief pitcher Jacob Webb to a 1-year deal worth up to $1.5 million. The Rangers had quite the World Series hangover last season, going from winning their first World Series title to missing the playoffs entirely. But they've still got many of the core pieces that helped win it all and haven't been shy about making a key addition or two that could have them get back among the World Series contenders in 2025.
That was John Fields from the Denton Record Chronicle speaking with KERA's Bekah Morr. We just heard about college football this weekend, but there's plenty more sports where that came from. The Stars take on the Blues on Saturday, and on Sunday the Mavs face off against the Golden State Warriors, while the Cowboys play the Carolina Panthers. Relax in the Alexander Mansion's tea room and enjoy a new tradition during the last weekend of their Christmas tea series. For more information and other fun things to do, visit kera.org/calendar. Thank you so much for listening to Wake Up with KERA News. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. This show is produced and edited by Shardae White and Bekah Morr. For more news in your inbox, visit kera.org/wakeup. There you can subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA News newsletter, written by our colleague Catherine Hobbs. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at KERATX. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.